Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk Wonder Woman, and we're going to go into some scripture. The scripture is very simple. It comes from Matthew chapter 5, and it's a truth that will last for a long time. It says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." You know, there are many reasons to mourn, but most people mourn because of the loss of someone close to them. And I don't necessarily mean loss in terms of death. It can be loss in terms of broken relationship. It can be a loss in terms of, someone deciding to go down the wrong path, and you can't support them anymore. Sometimes you lose people in so many different ways. People go to prison, and you've lost your child, for instance. You can't reach them. But the Bible says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." That is crazy. None of us think about, when we're mourning at least, that there can come something that can comfort us and stop us from mourning and stop us from suffering that loss. Whatever your loss is in life, I don't care what it is, that situation can be reversed. Life is a thing that's reversible. What I mean by that is everything is reversible. There's nothing, let me just say this. There's nothing that's impossible. I think we put too many limits on things, and I think it's because we restrict ourselves because we just don't believe. And like I said before, this is all about believing. There is nothing to stop any human being. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what class you are. There is nothing to stop you once you believe. But you got to believe. You can't fake it. You can't will yourself to believe. You just have to believe. It's either you believe or you don't believe. And it's a powerful thing. It empowers you when you believe. So on that note, let's get into Wonder Woman. Remember, Wonder Woman said in the movie, "It's not what people deserve. It's what you believe." I want to give a big shout out to John King. We've been talking on YouTube. It's been good discussions. And John King, he is an encyclopedia on things of DC. And I just want to ask his permission still to put these pictures up because I know he watches these videos. And just some of the insightful stuff. This is Wonder Woman he's showing from 1941 to the present time, when she entered in her first comic in All-Star Comics issue number 8. So here she is here. He put them in black and white to feature Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. And you can see that her design and also some of the tools and equipment she started becoming equipped with started to change over the different eras. Now, the first thing that we saw when we saw Wonder Woman grace the pages in Sensation Comics, we really basically got a backstory about her on Paradise Island, Steve Trevor landing there. But for the most part, the very first comic in that, by the way, Wonder Woman has appeared in 3 major comics early on. Okay, it was All-Star Comics number 8, then it was Sensation Comics, which was formed because of Wonder Woman, and then she had her own comic, Wonder Woman, in 1942. Okay, so here in 1941, she's in All-Star Comics and Sensation Comics. In 1942, she has her own comic. She is in Wonder Woman. 1950, her design is slightly changed and her philosophy slightly tweaked. In 1942, by the way, she is seen with the lasso of truth or lasso of Hestia. In 1951, her costume and design has changed more to an athletic costume and design. Again, a lot of people thought this was some kind of stripper costume, but it wasn't a stripper costume. You need tight clothing so that you can move, agility. So her clothing started to get smaller, tighten up. In 1952, she kind of had that standard Wonder Woman look. The eagle crest was being changed as well. There were different transformations of her. 1957, you can see she's transforming even more. And then 1966, you see the shorts are shortened up. She's more like a sprinter now. 1974, shortened up even more. Super Friends came out. She was on Super Friends. The design was slightly different with the eagle crest. 1977, influenced by Linda Carter. She comes out in a much more sexy design. 1986, the design's even shortened up more. 1997, we get a modernized version of Wonder Woman. You see her in a dress. In 2000, you can see this is the more classic design of Wonder Woman we know about. We see her in the comics. We see her in Justice League, etc. 2002, her design has changed a little bit more. The hair is a little bit more curly. 2009. Now, 2009 is where Justice League, she was in Justice League and stuff. From 2001, I think, Susan Eisenberg went all the way up to 2010. Here she is here. And in 2011, we now have almost the New 52 version. I believe this is New 52 version. Here it is again. And finally, they start lengthening back out her shorts and streamlining the design. In 2004, here she is again. A slightly different crest, a slightly different design. And now we have the modern Wonder Woman, which is the rebirth Wonder Woman she doesn't have. Now, if you look at Wonder Woman throughout the ages, and this is something that John King is highlighting here, Wonder Woman's size timeline and size as well. She never been a big, bulky, chunky chick, okay? Sorry about using the word chick, but I mean, she's never been bulky and chunky. She's been muscular, all right? We now see Wonder Woman. She was chunky in New Frontier. So Wonder Woman in the New Frontier, she was big, she was muscular, she was strong, she was strapping, and she was kind of bulky. She was kind of chunky, right? But Wonder Woman's not really a chunky kind of woman. Gal Gadot basically captures her dimensions, which is what John King is showing right there. She never been a big chunky kind of. She always been muscular. She always been strong, but she never been chunky. You know what I'm saying? And by chunky, I mean really, buff and strong and with big wingspan and that kind of stuff, right? She got wingspan. Don't get it twisted. But she never been big and chunky. So here, John King is able to capture that. We've got some more stuff from John King. This is Wonder Woman's recap of the Justice League. And it's really cool. All the founding members are there. You got Batman, Superman, The Flash, you got Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. The only additional member here that's not here is Martian Manhunter. This is why a lot of people complain. They say, oh, man, I don't want no Green Lantern. I don't want Martian Manhunter. What you really mean is you should have said, I don't want no Cyborg. I want Martian Manhunter. That's what you guys really should be saying. Because Cyborg is really a new, he kind of replaced Martian Manhunter. And a lot of people kind of dig Cyborg. They're like, I want to see what Cyborg brings to the table. So, Cyborg has replaced Martian Manhunter for now. And it's all good. Now he's highlighting here in the DCEU that Batman was a scientist. We saw in Batman v Superman, Bruce Wayne is able to make his own kryptonite spears. He's able to make the kryptonite grenades. He's able to fashion and design and locate and track stuff. So it shows that Bruce Wayne is a scientist. And also you can see him here transforming his body. This is from the original Batman comic for real. And you see him here transforming his body and getting himself into shape, CrossFit shape for Superman. Okay. Now here, John King, he basically is breaking down the different aspects of Diana, what Diana has been in the comics and in live action. So in live action, she's been a princess. She's been an Amazon. In the comics, she's been an ambassador for the United Nations. She's been an ambassador for the Justice League. Okay. In DC Comics, he's talking about color in DC Comics. And yes, I don't know where people get this, that it's bleach out color and there's not much color in DC Comics. But again, John King points out that there's different color tones to typify different sorts of feels and moods. And you saw that all the way through Wonder Woman. She didn't put Wonder Woman in there, but in Man of Steel, you saw that when you're looking at Krypton. There's one color scheme here. In Krypton again, let me see. Does he have any more of Krypton? I think you have more. Here's another color scheme here. So they change the color schemes all the time, which is beautiful, actually. Here again, look at this. This is a different color scheme here. So I love the artistic way how different tones capture different moods in these movies. So I'm totally on board with that. With Justice League, you can see here the differences in color tones for different things in the movie, right? And so there's a lot of color in Justice League, obviously. But different environments give you different color tones. And that's a higher concept that Marvel has ever done. Marvel hasn't done none of that, you know? And that's the thing. You see, when I look at the DCEU, it's advanced. It's very, there's a lot of meticulous stuff going on in the DCEU. You look at Batman v Superman. Look at the color tone where Superman was inside the Kryptonian ship. You got this beautiful paradise-looking color tone that we saw in Wonder Woman, by the way. And we saw this off the islands in the Pacific where the world engine had been destroyed by Superman, right? We saw also here, we see this is Metropolis, and you can see a different color tone, and then this here is a much more clearer color tone, giving you real colors where Superman went down into the capital city to be investigated, to go to the Inquisition of Congress. So really wonderful. And now here, John King makes the point that Superman saved so many people in Man of Steel to Batman v Superman. It's true. He saved children from drowning in the bus. He saved the people from burning to their death on the oil rig platform. He saved Lois Lane inside of the ship. He surrendered to humanity so that General Zod would not destroy humanity, because General Zod had put out an ultimatum. He said, this person who's among you, he's one of our citizens. He will look like you. He will appear like you, but he's not one of you. If this man is listening, Kyle, return this citizen to my custody, or else let your world will suffer the consequences, right? So I remember General Zod saying that. And he talks about saving Lois Lane from a burning to a death in the atmosphere. He saves his mother. He saves a pilot from Feora. He protects humanity from the Kryptonians in Smallville City. He saves a soldier who was falling to his death from a helicopter. He saves Colonel Harney from Feora. He saves humanity from extinction by destroying the world engine. And he saves Lois Lane from falling to her death, even though more than likely she might not have fallen to her death. Gravitational pull might have pulled her back up in for the Phantom Zone. Everything was sucking. He saved humanity from extinction by the hands of General Zod, as well as he saved some people in the corner when General Zod was shooting that heat ray from getting incinerated by him. In Batman v Superman, he stopped a drone from striking a village and killing everyone in that village in Nairobi. He saved Lois Lane from getting shot by the rebel guy. He helped. Well, you can see all the articles where he helped people, save people from earthquakes and all kinds of things. Like, remember, I did this one for you guys to see. He saved a girl from burning to her death in Mexico in the Day of the Dead. He saves a whole bunch of people on a ship that had capsized. He saved people from a space shuttle. He saved people on buildings who were in a flooded area. He surrenders to humanity again so that they can talk. He helps victims of the Capitol bombing, saving them. He saves Lois Lane again from falling to her death. He saves Batman from himself. He was about to commit murder. He saves Lex Luthor from Doomsday. He saves the city of Metropolis from more disaster and death and destruction by Doomsday by putting him out into outer space. He gets hit by an atomic bomb. He saves Lois from drowning. And he's willing to die for humanity that rejected him by confronting Doomsday and taking him out. And he actually pays the ultimate price for that. And he inspires Bruce Wayne to be a better man and Diana to come out of her hiding. Not that she is lost to humanity. She doesn't feel that humanity is lost, but she has been hiding in the shadows. She's not been proclaiming herself to the world as Wonder Woman. Okay? Here's more color in Man of Steel. Again, different tones in Man of Steel. This is the thing I was talking about. So here you see him here. This is beautiful. He was on flames. This is Krypton here, which is a totally different scenery, different mood, different tone. Here's Earth. Here he's back in time. This is him in Smallville as well, about to deal with the threat that he has to face. Here's his mother. This really reminds me of Smallville here. This different scenery inside of the Daily Planet. Here he is back with his mom again. You can see he's a country boy. This is beautiful scenery. Due to set when he's about to try and test his limits. And this, of course, was really obvious. Zack Snyder giving the Christ reference. Him with Christ right there, and he's talking to the priest. It's really dope. And this is a shout out to this reference right here, which actually John King shows in the 2004 comic, Superman comic. Father Daniel Leon, who was in Man of Steel, was in that comic, talking to Kal-El. Okay, you see, this is the crucifix in this case. And then you have, and I said before, DC Comics shout out to Jesus all the time. They do all these Christ-like figures because Messiah and Savior, that's tantamount to hero, you see. So that's why they use the metaphor all the time. This is cool as well. John King showing that you had the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, which he was saying was linked to the United States of America with the Star Spangled Banner and the eagle and the red, the white, and the blue. All right, and you can see that right here, Wonder Woman. And he's saying that the Gal Gadot version really links more to the Amazonian history of Wonder Woman. And the character is not linked as much to the United States of America, even though Steve Trevor was an American. Gal has more holistic values. If you look at the action in Wonder Woman, it kind of spans outwards. It doesn't really focus, say, on the United States of America. And that is true, because if you look at the story never says that she goes with Steve Trevor back to America or to aid the Americans. So this one is much more linked to America than this one. Doesn't mean that Wonder Woman, the character, wasn't formed by an American with American values, because while she doesn't have the stars, you notice she doesn't have the stars on her, right? Or stripes, for that matter. While that is not the case here, it doesn't mean that this character is not still attributed to the United States of America. Lady Liberty, for example. But Lady Liberty, of course, is not an American concept. That actually came as a gift from the French, which means that the principle is the whole point behind the thing. The principle here is still an ancient one, but nonetheless, the values that the United States of America espouse are basically being circulated. That's why I say she's still a propaganda tool for the United States of America with the world, but I disagree with that in the sense that these are values that America has adopted, which are good values. They're not bad values. It's not something that you need to sell to the world, because the world, it appeals to the world. These are things the world will desire. Free trade, free commerce, the ability to be able to speak your mind. Love allows us to be free, and that's the beauty of the thing, and the freedom to elevate each other and elevate mankind. I mean, it's a beautiful concept. All right, so when people say that, certain American values is American, it's not American values, man. Those values are inherent values we as human beings should have. Being loving, being caring, being kind, uniting with one another. These are good values. It's not bad values. So, I'm just saying. Now here he gives the parallel between the comic by Gail Simone. This is Gail Simone's comic where her bracelets actually cause her to create lightning. This is where she's creating lightning. Now, it's not exactly the same thing as this iteration here where she traps lightning. Right? She's able to trap lightning with her bracelets. She does not create lightning. Nobody in that whole entire movie created lightning. Even Zeus, he had to trap lightning. He'd catch lightning from above, and then he would send it out. Okay, and it's the same thing that basically Ares did. For some reason, he has the capacity to do the same. So he trapped the lightning first, and then he sent it off to Gal, and Gal has the ability to trap lightning as well. I wouldn't be surprised she's able to summon it as well and catch it with one hand and send it with another. But one of the very interesting things about Wonder Woman I've never seen in any Wonder Woman iteration is her ability to generate a certain amount of energy that her bracelets actually control. When she doesn't have her bracelets on, I think it's also given in the comics, but if she doesn't have her bracelets on, she cannot control the surge of energy. But with the bracelets on, she can actually control the surge of energy. As you saw her pulse that energy out on Antiope and knock her back. You saw her use that same repulsive energy, that beam of energy against Doomsday. A very heavy sonic burst of energy. And then you saw her use that energy again against Ares. In this case, it was incredible because she crossed her arms and then she just opened out her arms. She didn't slam it together this time. She crossed her arms and then opened it out. Then you saw her, to tell you how powerful she is, she was able to burst out of those kind of bonds that Ares had encased her with the tracks from the tanks. She just burst out of that thing. She got so, I mean, it was so intense how with Steve Trevor's death, she really felt the pain so much. She just burst out of the chains. She emitted a burst of energy. So she has this ability to just send that. You even see her when she's fighting Steppenwolf. She just kind of really generates that energy and just knocks Steppenwolf back. You see Steppenwolf moving through the tunnel, the water channel place. He's knocked him way back, like about 400 feet back. Okay, or 400 meters back, not even feet, 400 meters back. So it's really crazy what she can do. She has this energy source within her, this divine energy source or something. I don't know what it is. And she can just blow up. You know, she's kind of like an atomic bomb. She literally has like nuke power in her. In fact, I heard Connie Nielsen describe her as a walking atomic bomb. She's a walking nuclear bomb, basically. She has that kind of force and that kind of energy within her. She basically could level cities if she really started to nuke. You know, you were seeing Doomsday. He had that kind of force as well. He was like a nuke himself. Well, Wonder Woman's kind of like that too. So that's crazy, isn't it? So yeah, I'm glad he highlighted this. And then the last one here that I want to comment on is, of course, the inspirations for Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman film. She cited Indiana Jones. She cited Superman, 1978, and she also cited Casablanca. Of course, those are not the only influences. If she was to really break down all the other influences that are in that movie, one of them is Little Mermaid, that the writer, Alan Heinberg, he said that kind of influenced him. That's why the rescue and the seashore stuff. And what I would like you guys to do is go back, watch the movie, and see other influences that influenced this movie. Because there are other influences that influenced this movie and what they were striving for. The subtle things, right? Clearly, this movie goes along the lines also of Man of Steel. It has very similar motifs, and you can see that Zack Snyder, when he was giving the general sketch or the pitch for this story, you get that Zack Snyder-y kind of tragedy, kind of drama in throughout it. You can feel the Zack Snyder feel throughout it. So you know that Zack Snyder had something to do with this movie in terms of the story. All right. So at the end of the day, my point is, I just wanted to share this from John King. I want to go to one more thing before I leave, which has to do with an article in Variety. Geena Davis. I mean, for those of you who are Geena Davis fans and want to know, where did Geena Davis go? She just kind of disappeared. Well, Geena Davis has been busy, okay? She talks about Hollywood sexism and wanting to be in Wonder Woman 2. And basically, Geena Davis says this. She says that she finds that the early age, you can always check out this article on Variety, but the early age of children, the early ages, they realize it's still an imbalance in the amount of female and male characters that these children are introduced to. So children actually naturally take it within themselves to believe that, you know, there's mostly male and these things should belong to male. So basically there's still an imbalance. She's still looking for it to be 50-50, to be balanced, and it still hasn't happened. So we still got a ways to go with that. She thinks that Wonder Woman is one of those very progressive movies, and she would love to be a part of it. You know, Geena Davis is pretty picky about what she's doing. And she's going to be entering in a movie that's really cool. See, this is the Gender Equity in Children Entertainment I was talking about. But you can always read the article. She was talking about this movie that she's actually involved in, which is, I'm looking for it. I don't seem to see it right now. But let's see if I can find it. Maybe this is it here. Nope. Okay. Okay, here it is. It's trying to find. Okay. Trying to find it, but for some reason I just can't see it right now. Okay, she's going to be in the movie Marjorie Prime. Okay, it's a woman who tries to comfort her ailing mother, Louis Smith, by enlisting a holographic projection of her late husband, John Hamm, to keep her company. So, it's a very interesting movie because it talks about technology, it's in the future, etc. And it's about memories, pretty much, and what you remember of a person. So this hologram sort of imitates the deceased. It's a very interesting story. So it should be something that you would want to go see in the theaters because it has a very interesting concept to it. It's more of a drama again. It's more of a drama than it is anything else. And it does weigh on, artificial intelligence and so on. But like I said, Geena Davis, she would love to be anything in Wonder Woman 2, which is pretty cool. Not just a testimony to how good Patty Jenkins is as a director. And I truly believe Wonder Woman is going to win the Academy Award for Best Director. I think she's going to win it. Okay, that's my true feeling on that. I don't think anybody's going to touch Patty Jenkins this year. It's what it is. Anyway, thanks to John King. Shout out to you. If John King would leave his link in the comment section below, people can go to Facebook and other places and check out your information. It's just a plug for John King here. And any more of you who want to send fan art or some materials, I'll put it up on my in my videos, man. I'll advertise you. I don't have a problem doing that. I want people to really get engrossed in the DCEU, enjoy it, and have a very good experience, On that note, you guys have a great one.